Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. We have an agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda by staff or commission members? Nope. If not, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Do you need a motion for that? Didn't think so. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to go to a staff presentation on the public hearing for the definition of hotels, motels, and apartment hotels.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Good evening. I don't have a PowerPoint tonight. I know that we've talked about this at our last meeting and through some council discussion as well. So I do have copies printed out. Jill gave those out to you, and a copy of the memo that was distributed in the packet, as well as up on the screen. So just as a summary, the changes to the ordinance would include removing the definitions of apartment hotel and motel. There are no changes to where this use is either permitted or conditional as far as the zoning districts. It focuses the definitions of a hotel and an extended stay on what makes those a business or commercial establishment as differentiated from an apartment. And it adds a definition for an extended stay, which is differentiated from a hotel by the presence of cooking facilities. And these would be permitted in the same districts that hotels are currently either permitted or conditional. Staff did bring this item as a discussion item to the February 2nd Committee of the Whole. And for the new members of the Planning Commission, the Committee of the Whole is just a bi-weekly meeting held in the mornings. It's usually more for about discussion items or things that we want feedback from council on. And at that meeting, Councilmember Hicks provided 2 comments which were included in your packet. Pertaining to the fact that the definition of a complete kitchen for an extended stay hotel lists a lot of items, including microwaves, and so by definitions of the hotels not having complete cooking facilities, that might be misinterpreted or misconstrued as not being allowed to have common items that you do see in hotels, such as a mini fridge or a microwave. And the second was whether or not the Planning Commission wanted to consider a limit on the number of days that could be in an extended stay. And in addition to Councilmember Hicks, there's a laydown item on your desks this evening from June Bowman, who is the Executive Director of Visit Fergus Falls, who had some comments and questions. So for the public, I'll pull those on the screen. So her comments included, number 1, replacing the word sole residence with primary residence, pertaining to whether or not the definition of transient stay. She noted that she agrees with Councilmember Hicks's point about microwaves, so she recommends in the hotel definition just adding some language such as hotel guest rooms do not contain full cooking facilities, but may contain small refrigerators and microwaves. To, I believe, comment on Councilmember Hicks' point about a limit on the length of stay. She comments that she does not believe that there needs to be a limit on the length of stay for extended hotels. And while I do not believe that she intends for us to discuss it at this meeting, she just brought up some questions which I think you've heard echoed from council, and I think asked in these meetings as well, about things like Airbnbs and whether or not the city in the future would want to look at those types of uses. She also had some questions related to taxation, which she had also copied some other staff members on who are much more qualified to answer those questions than I. And also whether or not at a regular hotel, a guest would be limited to a stay of 30 days. So under our current definitions, we don't really have anything that addresses that. And nor in the current draft that we're looking at is there a limit proposed. So again, under the language that we're currently considering, it would just be tied to that sole residence piece. So those are the comments from council and the public that I have received to date. At the conclusion of the comments, the chair will open the public hearing, and anyone else would be welcome to speak as well. So these are the staff comments that I have. We have the fire chief in the audience with us as well, if there are questions for him pertaining to this matter tonight. So with that, that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Does the commission have any questions for staff or anyone in the audience prior to opening the public hearing? Okay. Then we'll open the public hearing. If you'd like to speak on this matter, please step forward, state your name and your address for the record. Then we will close the public hearing and we will bring it back to the commission. Thoughts on the presentation and the wording that we're looking at today?
I have some thoughts
Yep.
on the wording. So I did have this thought, and I just kind of let it go, that language on the not full cooking facilities was a little bit ambiguous. But so my thought is to, after hotel guest rooms do not contain, say, add the word full there, full cooking facilities, comma, but may include a small mini refrigerator, microwave. I think, like some Hampton Inns will have like an area with a sink. They'll have limited utensils and stuff there. So I don't think we necessarily want to limit it just to like a small fridge and a microwave.
How do you feel about a dishwasher? Because I've stayed in similar where it's like a wet bar set up with a small dishwasher.
Yeah. And it's still like a hotel.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing is it doesn't have like cooking.
Oven,
Oven.
cooktop.
Right.
Or do we exclude oven and cooktop? Is that cleaner?
Well, that's the biggest fire risk, so, well, but you don't want people having like hot plates and,
Exactly, and then that becomes a whole nother issue.
I don't know.
Do you want to speak to that and your thoughts on fire risk, or do you have any?
I can if you want. I don't know if I have anything to add. I mean, that would sway the language one way or the other.
I've stayed in hotels that'll have even a kind of almost a full-size refrigerator. I don't know if maybe major appliances is kind of but that would include a dishwasher. So major cooking appliances, I don't know.
Or like hotel guest rooms do not contain full cooking facilities.
From an enforcement perspective, if someone comes in with a building plan and wants a permit, if it said full cooking facilities, like Sarah said, how would that give you enough to be able to say this can stay, this can go? Or the building department, I guess I should say.
Yeah, so that would definitely be more our building officials area. I think what the concern is in other instances in the past have been those facilities that aren't meant for long-term human habitation. So using a hot plate as one sole cooking facility, having a building that's not wired necessarily to take some of these things. So I think that's where you see one of the definitions that we looked at with the built-in, that if it is meant for sort of those longer stays, that it be intended for that purpose, the construction of the building or reconstruction of the building. So if you're looking for advice, I would say that maybe the things that are common that would be allowed. So such as, but not limited to, a microwave, a small refrigerator. I think, what was the, but may contain small refrigerators, microwaves, or similar appliances.
So I think one thing too, Councilmember Hicks is maybe somewhat confusing, because in the definition of extended stay hotel, we say a complete kitchen.
Yep.
That's the term, that's kind of like the term that is used, which is equipped with X, Y, and Z. And up on, the hotel, hotel guest rooms do not contain cooking facilities. I think he's confusing
The two.
full kitchen with cooking facilities. And so, sorry, I'm just kind of thinking as we go, I should have been more prepared on this, but, so hotel guest rooms do not contain a complete kitchen, but may contain
Maybe we could
certain kitchen appliances,
common to hotel rooms.
Right.
Such as
common to
gas.
hotel rooms,
Yes.
but like, and then have another sentence that says like, that they should not have like a,
Oven
like
or
a, yeah, like a built-in cooking facility, which includes an oven or
Yep.
cooktop, or, you know, I don't know. Because that's the biggest thing, right? We don't want
I
hotels
think
to
so.
have ovens.
Right. And,
If you want me to speak on that part, I can real quick. You want me to-
yeah, that'd be
That
great.
would, that
Yep.
would be helpful, I think, yeah.
Yeah, the fire code inspection process for fire inspections for hotel motels in the state of Minnesota does lie within the state fire marshal's office. However, to our point of trying to make some good, clearer, language for our municipality is, I do think the limiting piece of like a built-in cooking appliance is important to differentiate between that extended stay and like a hotel, because can we, we obviously we don't want somebody coming in with a hot plate, but that's also, to write that in there, that's more of an administrative inspection piece than it is, I think, within our code language. But that cooking appliance piece, I think, is the bigger issue, because you jump into that, well, now you're dealing with hood systems and other pieces of built-in appliances that need to be present. So then as much as, yes, you could use it as a hotel room, but I think for our purpose, I think specifically excluding built-in cooking appliance, I wonder if that would bring us to that definition.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that.
thinking. Yeah, just,
Because yes, from a fire standpoint, just fire safety, having that type of item in a hotel room, we don't want to see that. That there's just, when you have that transient population coming through, yes, they might be great cooks, but that's more exposure, more risk within our community and for the owners of a hotel motel. So I do think that transient piece, that under 30 days, or that definition of a motel or a hotel, would be that built-in cooking appliance.
I'd be more
That gives
comfortable
us-
limiting the appliances and the time frame. You know what I mean? Like, limit what they can have in the room versus the time frame.
first to say like what, yeah, so
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Sure.
hotel guest rooms do not contain full, or do not contain a complete kitchen.
Right, or any built-in
Or we could say,
cooking.
for example.
Right.
We could say e.g. full
Full kitchen.
oven range.
Yep,
Or can we just put they do not contain cooking appliances?
built-in cooking appliances.
Built-in cooking
That was your
appliances.
verbiage.
I think that built-in cooking appliance, I think that in itself defines defines kind of a broader category of whether it's an oven, a range. So if it's built into like, say, a countertop, even if it's a hot top, a cooktop, we're still,
or the
that still
single
would fall
burners,
into
or
the
yeah,
built-in
yeah.
piece of it.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
Otherwise, what defines a small refrigerator or it seems like some of those things could be a little bit nebulous.
And like I think you said, some refrigerators in hotels now are, almost full size. They're bigger than the little mini bar
Like the
fridge.
apartment size,
Right.
yeah.
How about like hotel guest rooms do not contain full cooking facilities, period. Hotel guest rooms may contain
Small.
some kitchen appliances, however, they should not, they may not, or they shall not contain any
Built-in.
built-in cooking
Cooking appliances.
facilities.
Yeah, facilities.
Just say that, they may
Yeah,
contain
yeah.
some cooking or some kitchen appliances, but shall not contain
Yep.
any built-in cooking facilities. And then you could put, like what Kelsey said, example, oven,
Yep.
I don't know. They want to.
Jill, have we lost you?
So I think if we are feeling ready, I think what's probably more beneficial is to just edit on the Word document.
Okay.
But it still seemed like there was maybe some discussion going on.
Yep, I just want to make sure we haven't lost her completely in
Yeah.
this process. So are we comfortable with what Sarah and Kelsey are kind of meshing together here?
I like the word appliances, no built-in cooking appliances.
You like that better than facility?
Yeah,
Okay,
because,
yep,
yeah.
okay, yep.
So I'm not disagreeing with any of this, but I think you have to look at what are the risks and the limitations of focusing on the cooking facilities versus the length of stay. I think we've all stayed at a hotel, motel, whatever you want to call it, that's probably had a built-in kitchenette in it, and we've stayed there for the weekend. It was a suite, whatever. So are we essentially limiting ourselves on what businesses or hotels can do or develop to better suit guest needs by focusing on the cooking facilities piece versus the time of stay?
Okay, I agree with that. Are we understanding this, that an extended stay hotel can still be rented out for a single night?
Correct. That's why.
That's my understanding.
There wouldn't be anything in the zoning code. I think in practice, those facilities, they offer that, but they do tend to usually have minimum stays, like just as a business, not from a zoning code perspective.
Like a
but-
Marriott Residence Inn or something. I mean, you can book that for a month or you can book it for 2 nights kind of thing. And so there's nothing what we're doing here that would exclude that.
Not at the moment, not if you're not looking at establishing.
So to go on to talk about built-in cooking facilities, well, one, some of that regulation is already going to fall under the state electrical code. So there's no way you can haul a range into an existing hotel room and find a place to plug it in because they're 220 volts. So it's going to require an electrician to come and do the work anyway, which is going to prompt a state inspection on it. So I don't, like I said, I don't disagree with anything that we're talking about. I'm just wondering, is this the correct governing body that can define what cooking facilities should be located in a hotel room?
Okay. As code goes, this would be the group that would move that forward in the city of Fergus Falls. Is that correct? I mean, we are the correct governing body to be doing this. I'm seeing a nod.
If you want it in the zoning code,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. Does that address kind of your question?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's always worth taking a look at the other side of that too. What are the risks associated with the decisions?
Yep. No, I
So-
agree. I agree. Is there any hesitation on the definitions between extended stay and hotel in what we're doing right now with the changes that we've just discussed? So maybe we get that nailed down and then we talk about the time limit and get this part figured out in the Word document changed first and then move on to the other topics. Does that seem like a reasonable approach?
I would recommend that so that you don't lose the thread of the discussion.
So Sarah, do you have it written down at this point?
Yeah,
Oh, you had it?
I was just looking up the definition of cooking facilities legally, like if there's like a legal, is
It's vague.
I'm trying to, like, is there
It's
like a
very
better
vague.
word for,
Well, I like the word appliances if that's what we're really focused on.
but to describe like the range and the oven, like that group of appliances.
Cooking, I mean, to me, cooking appliances excluding microwave. Because a microwave would be seen as a cooking appliance, so
Yeah.
if we call it out as cooking appliance and then make sure that it's clear microwave could be allowed?
Well, microwave could be allowed, toaster,
Right.
what about toaster oven, you know?
So just as a reminder for where this laundry list came from, there was sample language that was included in the January packet. This was specifically from Minneapolis, and the Planning Commission was looking for a definition of those cooking facilities and landed on this. So